quick note. If you want to understand what really makes people succeed in German and how you can build a language to actually use it, join my free live workshop at bettergerman.info/workshop. Welcome to the Better German podcast. My name is Susi Blumel, and I will teach you German and everything around the language, the countries, and the culture. So, this week's episode about how long it takes to learn German is actually taken from a video interview that I did a while ago. So I'm gonna also put the whole video on YouTube. So if you want to see it as a video, then you can see it there too. Enjoy this episode. So how long does it take to learn German? If you're a total beginner and you want to start speaking a little bit, this generally can be done. I've seen it done in maybe 100 hours of learning. And when I say hours of learning, I suppose that you have a way of learning, either a good course or a good tutor that you're like making good progress with, plus your extra time you take to practice, to read, to write sentences, or whatever you do to practice. So it should take somewhere on average people about 100 hours to go from nothing to go to the first level where you can start speaking about your immediate environment in short sentences. This sounds maybe long or short, but that's on average something that people have. And then after that, it's maybe about 200-300 hours to come to the next level where you can use very basic tenses. You can also speak about the past a little bit and about the future. And maybe just to give you an idea, after that, about 300 hours for every further level. That being said, it can make a difference which language you're speaking originally. If you speak English, you may have a little bit a harder time to understand the German grammar than maybe if your native language is Russian. Sounds maybe funny, but Russian or a few other Slavic languages have, according to the grammar, similarities with German, and it's going to be harder. It is work. I think it's work to learn any language, but German I think German could be a little bit more difficult in the beginning than, for example, English. It is relatively easy to start speaking English or to start speaking Spanish. These are languages that are easier in the beginning. German is a little bit more like French or probably Russian, which I've not really tried to learn, but I know it a little bit from some students. It's not so easy to start in the beginning. Like you have to learn quite a bit to like even make correct shorter sentences. But that's not, there's too much importance given on the correctness of the sentences in the beginning. So the next question was, if I want to go on vacation to a German-speaking country, how long do you think it would take me to learn enough German to talk the language to get along? Cool. Wow, that's an interesting question. First of all, most of my students actually try to learn German because they live in a German-speaking country and it's not their native language and they need it. So it's a very different situation. But it's a good question because obviously people learn German maybe to speak to German-speaking people, which I think is a very nice thing. First of all, the good news is in the big cities at least and in the tourist areas, I think in all three of these countries, you will find people that speak English. I mean, it's a general thing. It's not like in maybe France or Italy, where it is very hard to find people that speak English. So that's the good news. However, if you put in these first 100 hours that I said in the beginning, that will give you the possibility to speak about your immediate environment, I think it will give you credit because if you go to a place and you make an effort and you show that you care to learn the language, even though it's not perfect, I think people will be happy about it and will like it. However, obviously, to really understand Austrians or Germans or Swiss, it obviously takes longer. It takes much longer. Yeah. Maybe you have had the thought, maybe I'm not good at German. Then I want to assure you that's not the point. That's not the problem. I'm going to show you what is the problem. And how I show you is I have actually put together a workshop. It's a free live workshop on Zoom. And in there, I'm going over what could make you think that. We'll cover what could go wrong, but I'm also going to show you how can it be done right? So go to bettergerman.info/workshop and sign up for the workshop, and I'll see you there. Okay, and the next question was, if someone wanted to start a business in the German-speaking area, how long would it take to learn to speak German good enough to do that? Oh, wow, that's a good question. Okay, good. Let me first, I want to say something, even though I'm trying not to use too many, how do you say, special words. There is something called the European Framework for Foreign Languages, basically. And they have a numbering system for the level of the ability to use a foreign language. And it starts with A0. A0 means you're a total beginner and you know nothing, basically. And A1 is this first level I said you can achieve with usually about 100 hours. Then we come to A2, which is, by the way, an important level because you need A1, for example, if you want to get a visa in Austria. The first visa, they require you to know A1. And to really have that level, it's about 100 hours. A2 is a little bit more advanced. You need this for the next visa. Like if you want to have a visa where you can stay about 2 years in Austria or something like that, then you need A2. And that's maybe another 150 hours. And then the next level the next levels are B1, B2, and then is C1, C2. So B1 and B2 are already longer levels than A1 and A2. So I would say B1, B2 is about 200-300 hours of learning while being in a German-speaking environment. So it's learning for about 300 hours each, plus going out and having conversations with people that are in a German-speaking area. And then C1 is a level that most people will only try to achieve when they want to go to university, to be honest. I mean, most people that I know, even business people, will usually be happy with B2. So I think when you are in a B2 level, it means so you can speak about pretty much anything, except for maybe highly philosophical or scientific subjects. And I think most people are very happy with B2. And then if you want to start a business and you have B2, then you can talk to people and get an idea of how they are and communicate with them. But then for the real serious stuff, you get a lawyer or interpreter, which you will anyway, even if you speak German. So I would say, if you sum this up, this is about 100 for A1, 200 for A2, 300 for B1, and 300 for B2. So this is about 600, 800, 900 hours, I would say. So you can do the math. It depends a little bit on how much time you put into it. I do not think, even though it is offered as intensive courses, that these things work as super intensive courses. Like you do not really achieve a B2 level by doing a 50 hours a week course for 6 months. I don't think it works that way. But you may be able to pass a B2 exam. However, if that's, I don't suggest that because I think if you live in a German-speaking country, you should actually speak the language and not just have the exam. In summary, I mean, first of all, learning German, if you really go into this and if you live in a German-speaking area, I think you have to understand that you never stop learning a language. My native language is German. I've been speaking it for like almost 50 years, and I don't stop learning German. I still learn new words. I look in a dictionary and so on. So this is not something that ends. However, if you want to learn German and you like start putting in maybe 1 hour every day, I think, what did we say? In about 3 years, you can be at the level where you know enough German to apply for the Austrian citizenship. This is not the only prerequisite you have, but many people that come to Austria want to be able to eventually apply for a permanente Niederlassungsbewilligung. So that means that they can stay here, or even a citizenship if they married an Austrian, for example. And in order to do that, you need B1, 2 level. And I think, and you should be able to achieve that in learning about 3 years, like 1 hour every day on average, with a good course or a way that helps you, because it can be much longer if you have a bad course, obviously. And if you are looking for a course or for classes, we can help you. I offer everything from individual lessons to group lessons and online self-learning courses, self-paced courses. And you can find the infos on bettergerman.info. And you can also make an appointment for a first free consultation. I'll put the link in the show notes, and I wish you the best for your German learning experience. And if you want to reach out, then hear from you soon. Bye-bye. Here is a story from one of my students. She came to Austria because of love, and she started learning German, and she tried learning German, and she learned German with different people. She had private teachers and private tutors that tried to help her, and she worked hard, and she didn't speak German. Then she came to me. I worked with her, and she was not a difficult student, frankly. Not at all. She was one of the easiest students I've ever had. We didn't do private lessons. She was in one of my small group programs, and after 2 months, she spoke German. That's her saying that, not me. Her name was Diana. And I'm not telling you this because I want to tell you how great of a teacher I am, but I'm telling this to you because what was wrong here was the method. It wasn't her, it wasn't the language. And most people, when they run into a problem, they think it's them or they think it's the language. And it's neither of them. Everyone can learn German, but you have to use the right method. So if you want to know what you can do to actually learn German, then join me in the free workshop, How to Actually Learn German. It's really a culmination of all the things that I'm using in my German programs and also in the podcast, by the way. Join me in the workshop. It's a live, free workshop with me. I'd love to see you there. It's on Zoom, and you can find out everything about it at bettergerman.info/workshop.